Hello everyone, welcome. It is so good to have you, and I know some of you will be watching on the catch-ups, but I just wanted to come and start our recording. Hello everyone, hello, it is so good to have you here. I am so excited to have everybody here. Unlock your potential with confidence in business and all parts of your life is not only going to change your life, but it will actually shift others around you. So it's not just generational, it's not just change that you're going to have with you, but that shift that is going to be spreading around your family and those close to you. It is going to make a difference with the generational healing, growth, and wealth, and not only financially, but emotionally as well. So having confidence in yourself, whatever you're doing, is going to give you that extra power. So it is very important. So when I say, full potential, you probably think, what does it even mean to be in your full potential? I know we keep hearing this from so many coaches and mentors. They all have programs and there's so many coaching offers out there. But I'm going to tell you my description of having and being in your full potential. I mean, I am so passionate about helping every single woman who crosses my path, and I am so grateful that I'm here and being able to do these and help women wherever in the world they are to find that confidence and have that clarity in themselves to go for their dreams. I'm just going to reintroduce myself for those who don't know me. My name is Elif Köse. I'm a fashion designer. I started my journey in the UK as an alteration girl, and I built from that to become an international fashion designer, an award-winning fashion designer. And then I started only 2 years ago, started coaching and consulting women in business to strategize their life, how I grow my childhood passion in fashion and turn that into a global fashion brand organically and slowly, sustainably. So I am now full-time coach. I help so many creatives start their own businesses. If it's in fashion, it doesn't matter what industry they are. I'm just passionate about helping women in business. So I'm just going to go back to what does reaching your full potential mean. So to me, reaching your full potential is a journey of liberation from your limitation that you created in your own head and the limitations that some other people that put on you. So what do I mean by that? I don't know how many of you have ended up doing things in a certain way because we've been taught that way. We end up doing things not because we want to, because we're expected to be that way. Our family, our traditions, our upbringing, we seem to adopt certain personality traits from our families, and then we go from like make decisions because not because we really want to, because we really have to, because that's what my mom expects or what my husband expects or my wife expects. So I know there isn't a police, like a self-aware police going like finger pointing people like you didn't make decision and didn't think everybody else, you know, there isn't someone, but there is that societal subtle pressure, especially women in business. It's like we are as women expected to be mums, as perfect mothers, perfect wives. They're just so beautiful at home. They're so presentable, but they're mothers feeding their children, looking after them. But when it comes to business, they expect you to run the business as if you have got no family, no children, no responsibilities. You have these high expectation from society to be. I know this from, my upbringing. My mother used to run a hotel and I used to help her. My dad was an exceptional man, but when we come home from work, I would be still helping my mother, and my dad, my brothers would be sitting in the lounge and waiting to be served. And I thought that's not fair. That shouldn't be that way. If that's the case, then I shouldn't really work. If I'm gonna not work, I should be having everything I want in my life. So it was those are the moments that I started seeding these. I have to have my financial freedom. Those were the moments that I realized that if I had my financial freedom, I would have a say in my family, in the decisions the family is making. So I decided to just walk for it. So I'm going to give you a little example of what I mean by that. If you could um, give up thinking of what others think, stop seeking of validation of what others think of you, that's when you liberate yourself. That is the liberation of what others think, and you stop living the expectations of other people and you start living your own desires. And when you start doing that, when you start being truly authentic, that's when the pivoting happens. That's when you end up actually being in your prime place. So I know it's not easy, but it's worth it. It really is worth it. So I'm going to give you an example of me. Very recently, I was in Turkey. We decided to visit my my husband's family hometown, and it was so good to actually be there. And one day I didn't want to go with them, so I just, because I had a couple of meetings back to back, and I really didn't want to dodge the internet connections because sometimes it can really play up, and I didn't want to ruin my meetings with my clients. So I decided to stay home. And then it was coming to the like afternoon time, and I just got up and ate some food. It was more like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, and I suddenly had this feeling. I was so busy typing up, writing my book, a chapter in my book. It was all coming to me. Sometimes it starts coming to you. I was just typing up, and it was all coming to me. And then I just felt, oh, maybe I need to get some food ready for my sister-in-law and my husband and my child. But I just didn't really want to do it. I just got up and went to the kitchen. I picked up the red cabbage, and I thought, yeah, but I am really doing what I love doing, and what I'm doing right now is what I think that I'm expected to do. I had in my head that my family expected me to put them food on the table. That was my idea. They didn't expect anything from me. It The reason I'm explaining this to you, because we all have this person in our head talking to us. We think we are somebody to the people outside in our life. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to do any food because they didn't call me. If they wanted me to have some food, they would have rang me. So I went back into the office and started typing away because it was so monumental. When you get some inspiration, you have to keep writing. That productivity just came to me that moment, and I was just going to break it because I thought they wanted. Half an hour later, my husband rings and says, we're on our way, we've already eaten. Luca is about to sleep, so we're going to do a little tour so he doesn't wake up when we get in. And I was like, see, I was expecting. So what would happen if I had done what was expected from me, but I thought that's what was expected from me? I would have put the table of food together, and they would arrive already been eaten, and I would feel angry. I would have said, you should have called me. I wouldn't have prepared the food. And he would say, yeah, but we never told you to get the food ready. It was your decision. You made that decision yourself to put that together, and now you're getting angry with us. So this is why you need to really stop these thoughts in your head. We always have that, the other girl in your head keeps talking to you about other people and what they think. What you really need to do is, when you get to those kind of feelings, just say, is it true? Is this feeling is actually true? Am I thinking the right, or is this my own idea of what other people think of me? Because we always have this idea of like who you are, who you think other people think of you, and who you think of the other person think of you being somebody. It's just like, just be you, just be authentic, just be unapologetically yourself in every way, including running your business. It is very important. Yes, there are some ways of doing certain things, like setting up your website, setting up your social media platforms, but there is a way of communicating. The communication of who you are and how you want to run your business is the main thing. It takes patience to accept yourself the way you are. I mean, I was, like I said, I was brought up in Turkey. I'm a Turkish girl. My mother has always been this woman devoted all her life to us and her husband. And she never regrets it. But I seem to adopted that side of her. Not that I don't love cooking. I love cooking. I love putting food together on the table. But when I want to, when I feel like that is the moment, but I don't want to give up on my passion, my ambition, just to please somebody else. We seem to be always doing that. Women seem to be always giving their time, their patience. Like, let's say there is something needs to be done, but you always pick other people instead of yourself. So by the time it gets to you, you're tired, you're exhausted. You don't really want to do something for you anymore because you've just used all your energy. So this is why you really have to have that patience with yourself and trust your guts and follow it. Have the courage to follow your dreams and have a lot of grit to reach your full potential as an entrepreneur, especially because the rewards you get at the end is more than worth it. It really is. When you are operating from your full potential, you will feel deeply fulfilled and empowered. And with that way of being, you will have a massive impact in the world, a positive impact. Anything that you're doing, it will have that positive impact on the things. Like, for me, confidence was the biggest issue. I am a girl who came to England as an au pair, couldn't speak a word of English. I knew nobody in this country. I was so introvert. I was shame. I was always afraid to speak up for myself. Firstly, because I didn't think I had a voice. Secondly, because I thought I have an accent and I will say something wrong and people will ridicule me. And I just felt always as a second class. I always felt that the last person on the list. Why would they want to invite me? Why would they would need me? So I always had these paranoid feelings of, like, if somebody didn't invite me somewhere, I would just create this whole story in my head and say, well, they don't want me, they don't like me because I'm not English. And then I suddenly just snapped out of that, because it's not true. It is not true. What we think of other things of us is not true. So I just decided to just go all in with my way of being, and I just stayed true to myself. If I couldn't speak, my first sentence was always, I'm sorry, I'm from Turkey, I can't speak English, can you please speak slowly? That was my first sentence, always, like, because that made me feel comfortable. The confidence, as I built my confidence, not only in English as a language, but as as someone who can be within the culture. I was ready to speak the way culture was speaking. I was ready to run a business the way it was working. So I just created this phenomenal business from absolutely nothing. And I would say, my only strength that I took was from women around me and their stories. And I would listen. I would just listen to them with my eyes, ears, hold my heart open, because it always inspired me. I started as an alteration girl, so I'm a bit like a hairdresser. When you go to a hairdresser, they do your hair and then you start chit chatting. And I would just chit chat with them as I was doing their pinnings and shortenings, and I would just listen to them. And I was so embarrassed of the things that happened to me when I was a little girl. I would tell them as a third person, as if it happened to somebody else, and try to hear what women would say. And more or less, not that anybody had exactly what I had, but everybody I met in my entire 15 years of in business and in this country, been through adversity. I've never met anyone who hasn't had difficulty in their life. I've never had anybody who hasn't had a real trauma in their life. We all have some issues. We're not perfect. We're just not perfect in any way whatsoever. But what we are imperfectly perfect for ourselves, for our offers, for our creations. So what I've just come to conclusion, like, there are certain things that you really need to do to build that kind of confidence, to be in your full potential. Because when you are like, it's just like, when you are woken up in the morning and you have full of energy, is different than after you run a marathon. At the end of the day, your energy level is so much different to the level that you have in the morning. So I just realized that there was like certain things that actually that makes a difference in our lives. So I'm going to try to go through them as far as I can with the time that we've got together, if you allow me. One of the things that I noticed, that if you want to be successful, some of us are born with growth mindset, and some of us are born with a fixed mindset. So I realized that for a long time, I had a real fixed mindset, um, with a slight little growth mindset. Because if I didn't have growth mindset, I would stay in my country and not get into trouble to cross continents to come to England from Turkey. So I had a bit of growth mindset, bit of courage through the woman in my life. This is why I'm so passionate. That's what motivates me, to see women thrive in their businesses, thrive in their relationships, with not just with their business, with their husbands, with their partners, with their children, with their families back at home. Ever since I discovered me, when I went into an inward journey to myself, as soon as I discovered myself, the more I got to know myself, the more I forgive myself. And that forgiveness has actually healed so many relationships that I thought was broken. I had to change my life. So that's why I always say, first thing you need to do, have a growth mindset, and then realize what you can do to actually grow. You need to grow. You're not in a competition to it with anyone. We're not in a competition to anyone. My only competition is myself yesterday. Every minute, I just want to grow 1%. 1% better than I was yesterday. That's the most important thing for me. So what I would really want you to have, that growth mindset. There is actually a book, I think it was I can't remember her name now. Carol Dweck, I think, is the book is written. The Growth Mindset. I highly recommend it. If you haven't read it, order it now. It's really good and helps you think in a different way. And it also helps you see other people in your life. You get to see how they think and why they are not so in certain places. And if you can be bothered, you can help them. and not really give a shit about what they think, excuse my language, because they're so fixed. You don't want to be around with negative people. You should, I mean, there is a saying in my country that you shouldn't even drink the glass of water with the person in it, in that room, has negative thoughts, because it goes in the water. We're all surrounded with energy. So I'm just going to keep moving to the next other things like that I've noticed that has actually helped me become the successful brand that I have, and now I get to help women in business to grow theirs. And the second thing I've noticed, that time management. So if you don't manage your time, you will end up spending too much time doing so like one thing and not enough time to do the other. So this is why doing time management will help. So to do that, you need to do planning. So if you do plan, like develop some goals, so year goal, month goal, and a week goal. So you can just break them into the 12 months, and you can actually, the way I work, I have a year goal and I break them into 90 days, and those 90 days then break into the 30 days, and the 30 days breaks into the week. And then from there we create the content, we create the events. We just had a phenomenal event with incredible speakers around the world. It was so good. They all shared their wisdom and their experience on how to start your business, how to be prepared to fail when things come, but still get up and keep going. And it is very important. I've actually got Rosie here. She was one of my speakers. Her story is so inspiring. If you haven't listened, go through my YouTube channel and do tune in. It's so good. The next thing, so we've got develop a growth mindset, planning, time management, have big dreams, but have small steps to get there. Don't keep your dreams small, because if you can think of something, that means it can happen. So I always say, if there is something that I need to do, if I don't know how to do it, I just don't say I can't do it. No, I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I just say, well, if somebody else has done it before me, there is a way. If there is a way, I'm going to learn. If I can't learn, I'm going to use the gift that I have to pay somebody else to show me the way to do it, or hire someone else to do it for me. So there is always a way. So always focus on the positive. Always focus on the doable. Everything can be done. Anything can be doable. There is nothing in this world hasn't been done. This is why I just say there are hundreds of coaches and thousands of coaches teach different subjects, different angle and different way to people, how to build your confidence and how to unleash your fullest potential, to own the life that you desire. The word you is very important here, because you have got to make a decision. If you don't know what you want, there is no way you're going to be able to get there. If you're thinking like, I've been following this person, she's doing exactly what I'm doing, but she seems to have so many followers, she seems to be making lots of money, but I'm struggling. The reason mostly is because you are not giving fully of you. You're doing things in a way that, I'm only saying this because I was the same. I have done the same way. I was just doing things in a certain way and hiring certain menus because I was thinking that's what expected. I was trying to fulfill other people's opinion and trying to seek for validation. But when you start to really clearly write down, like, there's all these things about manifestation, having clarity in your dreams. It comes true. It is so true. Anything that you visualize, it actually ends up being in front of you. What happens is, because your brain doesn't actually know between past and future and present, it just doesn't. It just knows there's information I deal with it. Information, I deal with it. So whatever you give, that if you feel that you are walking into this dream house and go and have a shower in that shower that you wish that you would like to have that shower, just dream it. Just get your brain into every detail of how the water comes through your body and how the color of the walls is. So if you give that clarity of what do you want for your life, it's going to really shift everything. The energy you've got in yourself and energy you reflect into your business, it will come out in a completely different way, and you will really release all the things that you have been holding on, thinking it's going to help you, but it just doesn't. I have had so many courses. I'm one of those course addicts. I've done a lot of courses and coachings and programs. I'm actually now down to 2 coaching programs I'm a member of. But one thing I notice with a lot of women I've been into the programs with was most of them didn't have, first, confidence, and second, clarity. So they ended up buying all these courses like Instagram courses, LinkedIn courses, and email messaging and course creation. So many courses out there, hundreds. If you go online now, you would find minimum 1,000 in 5 seconds. So but what they didn't have, the clarity in their head, what they actually want. What do you want for your business? What do you want for your life? What do you actually want to receive at the end of the month from that business financially? And how many hours you want to work because of you feel fulfilled by doing something else. Because we have been taught early in my entrepreneurial journey, I was working too many hours. I was exhausted. I didn't even have time to dream because I was either working or sleeping. So, yes, it got me to somewhere eventually, but that was not healthy. That was just not right. So, this is why you really need to you really need to get on the driver's seat of your own car and stop being told what to do by other people, because when we get out of that circle, we really liberate ourselves. Because when you think about it, all those people in our life, they want us to be happy, and those who don't, who you think that probably there are so many people in your life who are jealous of you, they can't stand the sight of you because of your happiness, because of your marriage, because of your business, whatever that is. Some people even are jealous of each other's nails. It's just weird. So those are not your people. Those are time consumers. Those are the people who are holding you back with their negative energy. And then what's happening is, like, I've got one of these clients. I absolutely love her. She's so compassionate and so passionate as well with her business. But what she seems to be doing is holding herself back to please her mum, because her mum doesn't want her to be the successful businesswoman, because there isn't anybody in her family like that. There isn't anyone in her family does that job and has ever been an entrepreneur. Everybody has worked in either in government, either in somebody else's private sector, but they never actually run their own businesses. So she's holding herself back so she's familiar to her family, so she fits in with her family. So being confident and being in your full potential sometimes can feel lonely, but I'd rather be lonely and happy and fulfilled and living my life than be surrounded with people who are not helping you be. This is why I always say the saying of Rumi, be with those people who help your being, because it really, really helps. So this is why I just want every single woman to find that leader within them. It really makes a massive difference when it comes to the decision making, and being in that energy level you get to you start selling better, your product starts selling better, your emails reads better, your lives gets better. If you're in the coaching industry, it just becomes more grounded because you are aware rather than you're just floating and just doing things. It's really important. So what I would like you to do is just like ask yourself, who do you want to be? What are you willing to do to get where you want to be? I know some of the answers might not be easy, and some of them might be even the decisions of like changing the country. It could be for me, like for one of my clients a couple of months ago, it was the decision of letting go of her relationship because she just realized, not me, she realized, because she's the one lives it, she has the emotions, she knows how she feels. I can't tell you how you feel by looking at you. You can't tell how I feel. You might get an assumption, you might have an idea, but how you feel at certain parts of your life, it's you know it. This is why when you know what you want and who you want to be and what are you willing to do to get there, it's life changes. It really is time for women to change, because if there is, let's say in a company, if there is a job that needs to be let go, they always seem to pick the woman in the room. They just don't think they do enough. And I feel so angry when I see this kind of situations, and I see a lot of women don't seem to understand the power we've got. We are so clever. We are so smart. I'm not saying men aren't, but what I'm saying is, I think this goes back to, I was talking to with one of my speakers actually pre-recording, like in olden days, like in back in Stonehenge time, like man all had to do is like go and hunt. What they had to do, they just had their whatever to kill the animal, to get the food. So they had to be quiet. They had to be focused and do one thing. They would go, hunt the animal, put it on their back and come back. But what women did, they stayed at the back in the tribe. They looked after the family. They made sure the tents were up. They made sure the house was, the tents were safe and the kids were fed. And we are like, it comes, it's in our genes, in our like in our bones, that we are born to be the person who cares, who looks after, who really follows, like creates tribes, the security, and we can multitask basically, and we are very good at it. And that is I think, looking just there, and then how we what we've created is actually very 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 powerful. So if you decided to be an entrepreneur and you want to start it, and you want to look what your values are, what you need to do is like, you really need to ask yourself a few questions, like what do you stand for, what makes you unique, and then that will also help you get your business into clarity, because there are so many people that are doing these things in a certain way. But what happens is, with your message, with your clarity, you reflect that to your followers, your customers, your existing customers, or the customers that that may become your buyers. So it is very important to have this clarity in your head. So what happens is, with my coaching programs, the way I help with to my clients is we get together like a girl sitting in a circle, thanks, blessings of COVID, we get to do things in Zoom now. We don't have to meet in person, but we really sit and really cameras open. We look into our eyes. I feel like they're there, or they feel like I'm there. So what happens is we really go through, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years, 20 years? And what happens is we create a destination. A bit like when you get in the car, you put the postcode in the sat nav, the navigation, and it takes you to where you want to go. So we really have these kind of conversations of where do you want to be in certain time, and then we create a reverse, like reverse engineer that and create a roadmap to get you there. And we are all different. Every single one of different. We learn differently. We have different skill sets. We know we are in different level in our businesses. So this is why there isn't really a single way. There isn't like a secret formula that fits everyone, or a little magic key that I give it to everybody and they just suddenly create their businesses overnight. It doesn't work like that. But what happens is we really sit down together. We really go through these questions of how do you want to be, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and how do you get there? What do you do? What are your offers? What else you can offer? How can you enhance these offers that you've got to make it irresistible? How could we cross your message with your ideal clients? Oh, ideal clients, and we end up going into that conversation of, yeah, but how do I find my ideal clients avatar? We keep telling, like, people always say, how do you find them? To be honest, you don't find them, they find you. Because when you know your why and what, the how comes naturally. So this is why we have that what do you want conversation. Where do you see yourself in so many years, and what do you offer? What are your offers? What else you can offer if you were to create another product or a service? And so we just go through every step to get ourselves a clarity, a clear clarity. What happens is, so you have a plan, you have a map. You say it's going to take you from A to B. What happens? Sometimes there's roadworks. You have to detour. Sometimes your wheel breaks. You change it, but at least you have a plan. You might change the plan on the way, because the unlocking your potential is actually a journey. It doesn't end. You just keep finding something else about yourself. And the way I approach to all my coachings and my programs is not just like filling up forums and creating the message, and it all comes together. But the first thing I really like to get clarity with people is their emotions, where they really feel stuck. I am a breath coach myself. I've done lots of breath coaching and been to so many camps and retreats. What happens is we don't breathe enough. We're so stuck in our past. We seem to be driving the car that we seem to let other people to tell us which way to go constantly. We seem to actually drive the way we do wherever people ask us to go, because we still seem to be in that 7-8-year-old girl in our head. We can't seem to let go of her to make decisions for us. What happens is, you really have to go through that emotional journey of certain things not happening. Why? You really need to ask yourself that hard question of how. It's critical when it comes to making that kind of conversation with yourself, because you're going to get so many trapped emotions. But it's going to really change your life. It really is going to change your life, because it is really, really important to have these hard questions, hard conversation with yourself. So the way I created these Unlock Your Potential program is to really, really make a difference in people's life. And I really want to have these sisterhood that you can be and you can ask. Everybody in the room, including myself, of course, is on a mission to make you the better version of yourself. And us, we help each other. We always have days, we don't always feel motivated, we don't always feel upbeat, but what happens is you will know there is a group of people who are there for you. They are, and being in the room with success driven women who are not intimidated by other women's success is life changing. So I really am so happy to have created this program. And if you want to join to us, please just say. I will share the details of the joining program on the comments on the chat here. It is going to make a massive difference in your life, and it's a very small investment, very small investment to make a huge difference in your life. So you're going to stop buying more programs until you're ready. They're not piling up and you've only done 15% of it because it wasn't the right one. It didn't fix because there isn't anything to fix with you. What you need to do is just unleash that potential inside you and let go of the worries and the past old beliefs, because once you achieve that, your confidence will just go high and you'll stop asking for validation. You won't even need to feel that way. You will know that you're loved without being told that somebody loves you. You're going to know that you've achieved enough to where you are. And everything you do now, everything you know now, is somebody's wish they are in your place. So it is very important to be amongst people who will value you and everything you've done so far, and who will help you create your dreams. So if you would like to be in my Unlock Your Potential program, we're going to start in the next 2 weeks. It's only it's going to be a year-long program. So you're going to be in this mastermind with group of women for whole year. You're going to have 3 days live where we will go through to get clarity you need for your business. And I'm just going to be um, in the group, in the mastermind, coming live once a week, 3 times a month, to talk you through all the questions you may have, all the problems you may have, all the templates you may need to send an email to the buyer, or anything that you would need help with your business. Basically, we will be there. If not me, it will be one of my coaches or one of my staff members to help and support you. But this is the sisterhood. It's like a networking group, but widely open, wildly successful, wildly looking for your success, looking for your happiness. And then you will see the change in your life. And every decision you make from now, it will be just you. So if you have any questions, just ask. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nitsa.